Well, Chef, it's a pleasure having you in. You're
Thanks.
a busy man. You got a newborn, another kid at home.
Yep.
You got a full-time job elsewhere, and you took time out of your day. So I really appreciate you making your way over to the Dub Club HQ. You were just riffing right before we hit record on where this whole journey started. So
Yeah.
I want to start there today. How did this Chef T persona, 100,000 follower Twitter account come to be?
Yeah. So we were just chatting about it, and so we back in 2022. It was like mid-COVID. Everybody was sitting at home on their computers. Shout out to Book It with Trent, Surgical Stream. He was kind of like the starter of people, being able to chop it up online and being able to, do sports gambling and pitch plays and whatnot. And I caught it, early on, and I met a few fantastic guys early on that, we just, started talking on Twitter, chatting back and forth, and doing this Twitter Spaces, which is like a conference call on Twitter, if you don't know what it is. But, and just started a text group, sports plays back and forth, nothing too crazy. I was, another hobby of mine is cooking, like legitimately, like spending hours cooking. And it was a lot more when before we had our first kid, it was just like all day, every day. I was cooking these fantastic meals. I mean, I posted a couple photos on Twitter, I think like a week ago, because people were like, wait, are you a real chef? And I was like, it's funny because people think I'm Chef T because I cook lottos. I'm like, I actually got the name because I started posting food pictures. I can't, would post on or come on stream and just cook. And I haven't had time to actually cook, crazy food lately because now we have a newborn. So we've got 2 kids. So I posted my name as Chef T because I would love to post food pictures. And then, we started getting into lottos and whatnot. And so that's how the whole chef thing came into play, and then I just kind of like went with it. People thinking that I cook lottos, fantastic. But yeah, then a couple months ago, it kind of blew up because I was one lotto that was one assist away from $250,000.
Oh,
so $10 to $250,000. So CJ McCollum won. People will know. CJ McCollum assists is on my ban list. So we have this thing called a ban list, and it's a guy. So obviously there's hundreds of props you can take each night, and we're pretty strict about the ban list for guys against a certain prop. And so he was my first one that was banned. Like CJ McCollum, I'm never taking CJ McCollum assists again. He can take his points, he can take his 3-pointers, he can take his rebounds, anything, but not his fucking assists.
that was going to be a question I had for you later on. What was your worst beat? And that has to be it.
It's funny that is my worst beat. But I've had a couple pretty bad ones since then, which actually there was about 2 or 3 weeks ago that, since I've blown up, like a lot of people tailed it.
Yeah.
And it was $10 to win $5,000. And this is going to put PTSD in a lot of people's brains because it was a wild ride. It was a wild ride. I'm telling you, it was what we call an all points mega. So we've, ebbed and flowed with different types of parlays, all threes, unders, stuff that you can do on the books and stuff. And so one thing that a lot of people like is this thing called all points mega, where it's just guys with their points either bought down and then you parlay, 16 of them together. Picked my spots. And it was looking great. Everything was hitting. And I remember it vividly. It was like Brooke Lopez had to get, I think, 12 points. And so the late game was the LA Clippers game against the Phoenix Suns. And this was January 8th. I remember this like it was,
it was yesterday.
I will remember this I will remember this for the rest of my life. So, and I was like, oh, Brooke's not going to get it. Time was winding down. He got it. All right. So it was the time between the last game and that ended, and the Clippers game that was starting at 9:40 Central.
Mm-hmm.
In that time frame, everybody was losing their shit on Twitter. They were like, wait a second, I'm getting cash out options. What do? I need advice. I was like, listen, I'm not going to give anybody advice because, one, that's not what I'm doing. I can't do that.
Yeah.
You do your own thing. That's your own money. That's your own bet. If you could use, if you put $10 down, you were going to get $1,000 cash out. If you could use that $1,000, you fucking take it. You do whatever you want. It's your money, right? But if you ride it, you get a chance to win $5,000. I was like, you do whatever you want. I'm like losing my mind. People don't know this. I was in the hospital. My wife had just gotten the epidural.
Oh.
And I'm like losing my mind because people are asking me on Twitter. I'm like keeping my cool, like in the hospital room. And she's like, all right, I'm going to take a rest. And I don't know if this is a bad story or a funny story, but like I'm in the hospital and like I'm like, and she has no idea what's happening because like we're obviously like she's going to be now sleeping for a couple hours. Like the baby's probably going to be born like 5 hours from now. So I'm like, well, I can go to the cafeteria and I can sweat this out, or I can, grab a cup of coffee. So I'm like pacing back in the room while she's sleeping, and I'm going back and forth. And so people, some people cash out. It's great. It's fantastic. I'm going to go down with a ship, or I'm going to sail to America. It's going to be a story of Titanic. I don't know what's going to happen. 4 guys left. 4 guys hit their points: Devin Booker, Paul George, Norman Powell, and Jusuf Nurkic. And it was halftime, and everything was looking great. They had canceled cash outs, and something was up. Nurkic had 8 points. Norman Powell, I think, had 4 or 6. Booker was looking great. Paul George was like right there. I was like, oh my God, this is going to happen. The whole community is going to cash this $10 at $5,000. People are going to be through the roof. It's going to be fantastic. And then all of a sudden, third quarter starts, and Nurkic misses a few like layups, like right in a row. Like at the start of the third quarter, I'm like, okay. Coach pulls him.
No.
The beginning to middle of the third quarter. I'm like, okay. He needed 1 basket. Like he has 8 points. He needs 10 for the lay. The other guys need to cash. Everybody else cashes at the end of the game. Nurkic never gets put back in. And I'm talking to people on Twitter. I'm like, what in the fuck just happened? I'm like, did he get hurt? I'm like sweating my ass off while my wife is sleeping there. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? They're like, oh, Nurkic, like he's not injured, but they pulled him. This. I was like, how many people actually tailed this? How many people would have cashed this amount of money? Like, I don't know.
FanDuel would have gone down. I mean, I think he had like 500,000 impressions on that tweet, some ridiculous number.
I don't know. But I was like something. And so they interviewed the coach after, and they were like, so why did you pull Nurkic? Why did you pull him? Oh, we were trying something different. Trying small ball or something like that against KD, and it was just like mind-boggling to me. And that was only a couple weeks ago. So that was probably, now that I've like gained a following of community, because like that whole like CJ McCollum thing, that was before I had like a huge following, but now like a lot of people were tailing that, and I'm just thankful a lot of people cashed out. But that was definitely pretty bad. But actually, and then there was another one this past weekend with Rui. Anyway, I could probably go on talking bad beats forever.
Let's dive into your following a little bit that you mentioned, because for people that aren't familiar with you and your work, they may come across your page now and see that you do have 90,000 followers. Mm-hmm. That's not always been the case. There has been this massive blow up as of late.
Sure.
You mentioned earlier you started doing this back in 2022. And chugging along with 500 followers, 1,000 followers. Yeah. We come across your profile probably about 2 months ago, and you had, we're up to 2,500. Two months later, 90,000 people.
Yeah.
What has happened?
Well, we've hit a few megas. We've hit a few lays, which has been a huge help. But I think a big a big aspect of what I do is, bringing as much as I can positivity in this space, and a way for folks to be able to come together and really like collaborate with one another. Because, I've been doing this for a couple of years. There's a lot of negativity in this space.
Mm-hmm.
Really, there's a lot of negativity, and there's a lot of the people that are doing the same thing. So it's, I've got 5-8 money lines that I'm on, or spreads that I'm on. I'm hot right now, this, which is fine, like totally fine, but those are a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
That's not what I do. I'm not going to be that guy that's going to pitch you, 5 or 6 plays a day. What I'm going to do is, be able to provide a scratch off ticket that you can do from your phone, that I'm going to tell you the research behind the scratch off ticket, and I'll tell you I'm going to ride the scratch off ticket with you, and every day we're going to come really fucking close to cashing a scratch off ticket, instead of going to 7-Eleven and doing it yourself and just scratching off and hoping and praying. There's going to be research behind it. There's going to be a community behind each play, and research behind each play, and being able to chat about it, because I don't see that a lot in this space, where there's a sense of you can chat with whoever you want, and there's sharp people in here. And I know that some people say, oh, nobody knows what sharp means, or sharp is a bullshit word, or sharp isn't what you think it means. Sharp is, if you fucking know your market, like Knicks or WNBA or fucking, KBO, like, and it, people are going to listen, and they want to ask questions, and we want to provide that resource for them. Like,
yeah,
I don't know if, we recorded this or if I talked about it before, but like, I'm not the guy for every sport out there. Absolutely not. But if you have questions about a different sport or a different community, like, I will do my best to give you the best resource that I have, and be able to shoot that to you on Twitter and let you know that, like, these guys are all, great guys or gals that know really a lot about the sport that they're talking about. Like, I can't give you college basketball. I can't give you college football. And I've learned that about myself. I'm not going to try to tell you that I am and then just try to bullshit you to a way that, like, for me to get more followers. Like, I know what I'm good at, but I know what other people are good at too.
That's one of the coolest things about you, having, met with you multiple times virtually, and then now getting to meet you in person and hear the story firsthand.
Yeah.
Is how egoless you are. These people that you're talking about, these guys and girls, these are just everyday followers of yours. It doesn't matter whether they have 1 follower or 100,000 followers. Like, you take their thoughts, their questions, their concerns into consideration, just like,
100%.
It's your best friend in the world.
Yeah.
And that's what's so special about the community that you're building.
Yeah.
And I know that's a major emphasis for you, is community.
Mm-hmm.
It's us against the books. I would love for you to expand on that positioning from you a little bit.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I only had a small following for a while, and I didn't really have like a specific market. I mean, I knew I loved the major sports like NBA, NFL, MLB, but there are hidden gems, not only in sports books where people can find, but like in the community.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there are some really, really smart people that are just like maybe shy or timid, that really know their shit. And what I've been trying to do is trying to pick them up and being able to be like, listen, like, people want to hear what you have to say, because what you're doing, at a certain time, like, you're people, there's so many. I'm not, and I don't know if we were talking about this or not, if it was recorded or not, and I know that you can chop this up and edit it, right? But I'm not the smartest person in the room, and if you're going to say that you're the smartest in the room, that is complete bullshit. And so we're not about that. Like, we're gonna bounce plays off each other, and people are smart in their own aspects of different types of sports, different ways of betting.
Mm-hmm.
Different things that you can do for different books. And so all these people with egos and the negativity and as soon as there's one loss or as soon as there's some one bad thing, it's like the world is crumbling down.
Or one guy comes out of the gate slow, and it's still the first quarter, and they're over in points, and people are already in the comments.
And those are fun to sweat too, for sure. And and part of it too is the whole sweating aspect of it.
I was gonna say, when you were talking the lottery ticket or scratch off comparison, I was like, sweating out somebody hitting over 12.5 points when they're at 5 in the first half. That's a lot more fun than the lottery ticket or scratch off.
Exactly. And you're doing it with the community, so obviously. People on Twitter are tailing it too, and so we're like, wait a second, what's going on? And you post Twitter about, you do a post about, wait, is he in? Is he out? Because I can't watch every single NBA game. I'm not, I don't. Sorry, my bad. I don't have 15 screens on every single game. I'm like, holy shit, what's happening? And, people are responding, oh, he's injured, oh, he's back in, this. It's like, okay, everybody's like on the same page. We're just trying to make sure that we're all in this, we're all on the same page here, right? So it's just a fucking blast, man. It's been so fun because, like I said, we've been doing it for years, and now that people are, really seeing it and seeing the positivity and the sweat together, it's just a lot of fun. And it's not like, I think another big aspect of it is what I'm doing is changing things each day. I'm trying to learn about what people want, what people like, and what works and what doesn't work, because in sports gambling, it's a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to hit at a 70% clip constantly. Like, that's not the way this works. So it's going to be a roller coaster, right? And so when things aren't working and, we're in a slump of hitting or trying to do a threes lotto, and it's just not working, and you're doing your research and it's all there and your mind is clouded, and you're trying to ask other people about what you think about this and this and this, and you're using all the tools that are available to you, switch it up, And so as long as we're changing things and learning and using what's working and doing what's working and kind of just putting the things to the side that isn't working, people are seeing that human aspect of it and knowing that I'm in this too. I'm trying to, make money off the books too. And so that's why when it's so exciting, I know if you see my tweets, I'm losing my shit when shit hits. And that's the truth. And so it's just a lot of fun for me. So I'm just glad to spend it with other people and that other people love it too. But I think people there are so many different aspects that I think people love that I'm just so excited to, that it's to a point where people just know where to go. I know where to go for some folks, and I know that I'm giving a platform for folks on Spaces, and that people can DM me and talk to me and just sweat it together. So it's just there's a lot of different aspects. So I'm just trying to it's only been 2 months. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it.
I can only imagine. It must be overwhelming in a sense. And I know that you've talked a lot about emphasis on community. How does one even start to respond to 500 DMs in a given day when you guys are sweating something out?
Yeah,
that's got to be the craziest part.
It's really tough. And like I said before, I really refer people to other folks for questions and things like that. I get questions, and if I see something that I can respond to really quickly with, I'll reply if I can. But it is about time management and referring people. I do as much as I can to say, listen, I've got we've had a great community for a couple of years of this guy does NBA, this guy does NHL, this guy does NFL, this guy will do this, and just trying to get the other people in the community. I know they say it a lot in the community, give them their flowers, because they're really good at what they do. I am not the smartest person in this community. I'm not the sharpest guy out there, but I'm happy to take that role of leadership and being listen, we're all in this together.
Yeah.
I am doing my research every day, all day, and I'm sweating this out with everybody, but there's a big community out there. So I'm, and that's why the wins are fantastic and the losses aren't as heartbreaking, because they're lottos and it's gambling and anything can happen. but like we're doing this all day, every day. And so we're just like trying to, we're trying to learn all day, every day. And it's a fun grind. It's a fun grind.
A question that I have for you, and you started to touch on kind of your daily process and routines, is how does one even start to go about building a 18 leg parlay like you do on a daily basis? Is it all your contributors that you've mentioned earlier giving their thoughts, giving their advice, and you pick and choose kind of plays that you like, or are they all based on your thoughts and opinions?
Yeah. So at this point in the process, and it's, I used to build lottos with, my good buddies. But at this point in the process, time management is key, and I don't have time to bounce all these ideas back and forth off of everybody. So thankfully, like we're in the NBA season now, and we're in the middle of it. I know I've got a pretty good memory, and I feel like I'm a pretty smart guy. So like I know how each defense is. I know how each offense is run. I usually know what guy is trending up and what guy is trending down. Obviously, I need some feedback here and there, so I do some research. But in my own time that I'm able to quote unquote lab, I'm using like specific tools, right? Like there are tools out there. There are free tools that we talk about a lot, and I try to promote them on my page, or try to help people out with. There are free tools. There's tons of free tools out there that people can use. I mean, do I say them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like props.cash, huge one. Outlier.bet, huge. Betalytics, huge. But then you can also go to NBA.com. You can also go to #basketball.com, Courtside Pal, like all these different things that are all these resources that, like I said, I have to kind of, instead of spend hours each day looking at this stuff, I already know this information. I already know the trends and the ins and outs and who does well against what. Mm-hmm. Like tonight, like is Plumlee playing? Whoever the fuck is the center against Plumlee is going to get his boards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like shit like that. So it's like, okay, do this, and then you just buy it down, and then it's like a parlay. So, it's just it's part of the whole community process, because I'm not sitting in my own corner. I'm like, I'm looking at these plays and seeing what other people are talking about. Spaces is just so huge. It's huge because people are really sharp, and it's just a way for people to bring stuff up that I wouldn't have even thought about. Like yesterday, the whole Josh Hart TD, I wouldn't have fucking even thought about that. It was plus 3,600, and he was like, it's happening. And I was like, all right, put $5 on it, and you win $130, and it's just like, so just people are out there, the resources are out there. Like I said, 2 kids, full-time job, husband, trying to cook actual food in the meantime. All this stuff is just basically in my mind, and I know the weaknesses of teams and the positivity of teams. We don't hit a lotto every day. Absolutely not. We come close, and people hit winning tickets every day.
The watered down plays that your followers and subscribers are taking,
it's fantastic.
Those are some of the most fun ones for me to see when you miss a 16-legger by 2 legs.
Yeah.
Go check the comments right away and see, okay, everybody watered this down just a little bit, and they're still getting plus 30,000 odds or something obscene like that.
Yeah, it's awesome. It goes. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, speaking of plus 30,000 odds, checking out your TikTok is prepping for this interview. I saw you hit a plus 29,000.
Yeah.
Let's dive into some of your favorite caches. We covered the worst beats. Any favorites come to mind?
Saturday was awesome. That was especially awesome because so things were the past week prior to this. So what's today? Wednesday. So or past probably couple weeks. It's been kind of like a lull. Like haven't really gotten close to a mega as I want or a lotto, and shit was just getting stale. The only thing constant is change. I was getting bored. I'm not doing this because I'm just chugging these out all day, every day. Like, I really care about this shit. I was getting bored. I was getting stale. I was like, damn, like, this is not working. Something's not working. And I'm old. I don't know what TikTok is, but I started a TikTok on Saturday. I was like, all right, let's fucking try some. Because people, with these megas and lottos, there are groups of games that people will group them together and they'll cash them out. I don't do that because I believe in juju. I'm a superstitious guy. If I double dip on something, it's not going to cash. So I put out the lotto, and I'm not taking each one. I do my own straight bets to manage my bankroll. But the lottos, I'm not doing 10 different lottos that are grouping different guys together from the main lotto. Way too superstitious. And if you listen to Spaces and if you talk to me, you know that about me. So I do my own straight betting for other stuff and money lines and stuff like that, and props, of course. But that's just straight betting to manage my bankroll. The lottos are for fun. So it was just, stuff was getting stale, and it was just like, I got to figure something out. So I started to and people have been asking me, do bankroll builders so that we can pay for the lottos. I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to double dip. I don't want to do this and this. And I was like, all right, I got to try something. So I was like, all right, fuck it. So I was like, all right, let's do a TikTok, and we'll do a bankroll builder on Saturday because there's games starting at 11. All day bankroll. Fuck the 10 to 10K challenge. For some reason, I can't do that. It's just like curse against me. I think way too much about it, about one play that's even money, and it doesn't work. So I was like, we're just going to do a rollover challenge, go with my gut. And so we started with the 11 a.m. game. $10 to $20 cashed, and then I did a spicy lay, which is $5 to win 1,000 or whatever, and for the first game, and then I picked a 2:00 game, rolled that $20 winnings into 40, that cashed, and then went to a 5:00 game, 40 into 80, that cashed.
Let's go.
So I was like, all right, this TikTok thing's working, people are liking it. It's the bankroll builder's working. Last game, Lakers versus Golden State Warriors, which you were saying, definitely one of the best games of the season, if not the best game of the season. I was like, all right, we're going to go out with the bang. D-Lo's been hot. Steph, obviously king of threes at home. They're on rest. They've been resting for 9 days or something. They just played it back-to-back. Not worried about that, whatever. And obviously Lakers perimeter defense is piss poor. So I was like, all right, these are the bankroll guys, right? And then I was like, we're going to end with a super spicy lay. And it was like, 9 guys to hit their line and maybe a little bit above 9 or 10 guys. And so I'm like jacked about because the lottos are like, we'll put a couple bucks in them and we'll see what happens. But I was really focused on this bankroll thing because it was working. Yeah. So I was like, all right, $80 to $150. It was D-Lo and Steph. And it came down to it, and I was sweating. It was like an all-day sweat with everybody, which was awesome. When's the next bankroll going to come? What's the next bankroll going to come? I was like, this is great. People are loving it. We're cashing. People are having fun. I'm having fun. This is great. And so it was the end of the game, and D-Lo, I think he had to get 16 points or 16 and a half points, and I think he had 12 points. He had 12 points. And I think it was the last 6 minutes of the game. And Steph had cashed his threes. I think in the first half, no problem. I was like, all right, D-Lo, do what you're doing. You need a fucking trade, brother. Show them out. You got to do what you got to do. Golden State's defense is piss. So just keep doing it. And so I was like, no, it's not going to happen. And so one of the best parts was I was on Twitter. I was like, listen, everybody, I'm out. Tell me if it cashes or not. So I'm pacing in my house. I'm pacing back and forth. And I get a couple blown up tweets, and people are like, oh my God, he got it. D-Lo got it. I was
go.
Like, let's fucking go. So 80 to 150. And then I was like, wait a fucking second. The spicy lay is still available. $10 to win $3,000. I was like, this is still happening. So things are happening. D-Lo hit a 3, hit points. And what's funny is when I send these people the links, the sports books will change the lines. So my lay had Steph for 7 assists, and everybody else's lay was 6 assists. And so it was the end of the game, and I think it was I think the total was like 118 to 115 or something like that. And Golden State was down, and it was like a couple seconds left, and he got his 6 assists. So a ton of people cashed, like a 20,000 odd lay. And I was like, and people were like, oh my God, it cashed. I was like, mine didn't.
Yeah.
Well, where'd you guys get 6 assists?
Hoping for OT.
Yeah.
So he can get more.
Yeah. And so Clay hit a 3, sent him to OT. And I was like, oh my God, I can't watch this. I need 1 Steph assist for a cash. And this was just last Saturday too. One Steph assist for a cash. I was like, I need to step away. And I was also texting my guys that I do spaces with. And they texted me when it happened. And I was like, this is the game of the year. Definitely. 100%. So that was the most electric as of late. We hit a 2,000 lay, which is electric 2 days ago or a day or two ago, which is electric because Lakers were down by a lot, and Bron got hit in the face from Dylan Brooks, and it was like a big thing. Like Brooks got a technical or something like that. Bron needed one more board to cash. He cashed it for us, which was awesome. So yeah, we've had a few. I mean, we're on the up. We're on the up and up.
Absolutely. You could say that again. Whenever you're cashing plus 20,000 lays and you have hundreds, if not thousands, of people tailing you, that's got to feel pretty good.
Yeah. So the wins are fantastic, but what's more fantastic is like, it's not like those are, those aren't. We hit decent cashes like, probably every couple weeks.
Absolutely.
And, you know what I mean? And so, but more often than not, which is fantastic, is like I said, the community is cashing every day. Like they are turning these lays and these blueprints into their own plays, and sharper than me, smarter than me, know who's going to cash, know who's not going to cash, and they're making their own lays and cashing and sending them to me, which is the best part. Like because people are cashing every day and all day and every day, and it's like, it's just really great to see. So.
Speaking of that community, I would love to dive into your Dub Club community a little bit because, as I said, we met about 2 months ago, right around there. Mm-hmm. You weren't really sure where Dub Club was going to fit into the picture, given that you knew with 100% of your heart that every single play that you put out there, you wanted also out there for free.
Yeah.
You've been such a positive member within the general gambling Twitter community that you've built a super loyal fan base, and people are showing willingness to pay X number of dollars per month just to support you and support your Dub Club.
Yeah.
There's also the ease of play delivery, and I know that went into the decision as well. So do you mind just talking about that a little bit?
Yeah, honestly. So it really started because, I specifically play with FanDuel only because I'm like very used to it. And they have these shareable links. So I'm able to send. So with these lottos, like if you're spending time putting in 20 to 25 plays, that can get really tedious. Like, yeah, I'm doing it, but I'm not going to ask or expect people to put 20, 25 plays in each time. I'm trying to make it easy for people. So I started sending them links. But what you have to do, is just, it's not as easy as what Dub Club can do. So I was like, all right, you're asking for a service. People are, I'm trying to give people what they ask for in this whole process. I'm trying to listen to people. And they were asking for it. So I was like, all right, like I know this service that will text people. A little perk to that is to get it earlier because when you're doing a lotto like that, the odds will shift. Like they will drop.
Especially in the smaller markets, like
100%.
blocks or steals or something that the average Joe is probably not targeting.
Yeah, so there is a benefit to that in getting it earlier as well, especially with people that I've learned that are, going to work. They don't have time to do it while they're at work, or it's about time management. So if I can get it to them earlier and they can manage their timing and be able to put these plays in, or even people who, are traveling across state lines. I don't know if we can say that on here or not, but people work literally maybe across the border of some state and can gamble in that state, but they live in the other state. Mm-hmm. So you can cut that, obviously, but like I don't know if that's like something we can talk about.
No, absolutely. That's
some
completely
people
fine.
tell me about it. Like,
yeah,
fuck, dude, I got to cross state lines to put this lay in. So whatever.
that's how big of a cult following you've built, is that people are driving across state lines just to get the action.
Yeah. So they're like, dude, when are you gonna put it out? When are you gonna put it out? I'm like, so I try to get it out as quick as I can. The one caveat is I don't want to just put out bullshit plays, and because FanDuel only puts out specific plays early on because they don't know injury news and they don't know lines. So you have to wait for a while, like probably like 2 hours before is when they actually release the alt lines for these guys, and you can get a really sharp edge on, and it makes a difference. Like we have gotten hooked bad for a couple guys.
That half point of CLV could be the difference between losing a $10 parlay or making 10 grand in that given day. And so
yeah, like last week, Rui Hachimura had 11 points. We needed 11.5 points. If you would have taken his 10 points, which a lot of people did, thank God, you would have made I don't even know how big the odds were. I think it was a 9,000 lay or something. And people caught it at 10. I got 12, and he scored 11 points. So, if you can catch it like at 10, but the books will only put out 10 at a certain. So it's getting them out early. People trying to put them in early when they have time, because people have jobs, they have shit to do. So the Dub Club is able to, that perk of getting it a little bit earlier is helpful for that.
And never missing a play. Could you imagine if you're a follower of yours that's tailed parlay after parlay after parlay and maybe not hit that monster one?
I know.
But with the Dub Club notifications, makes it a lot more clear. Here is Chef T's play. Go bet it right now.
I know.
Versus turning on Twitter notifications.
100%. Because people say that to me every time we hit a big lay. The one I missed. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. I'm really sorry. Like, I have a service that pushes everything for free, and you can have Twitter for free, or pushes everything, early and directly to your phone. So if you do want that access, like it's set up for you.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, like I'm spending time doing my research and providing this for you guys. And I mean, 99.9% of the people love that I'm doing it, because they know how passionate about it I am and how much research and how much time I'm actually spending on doing it and pushing it out to Dub Club early and with the links. Because I want people to sweat with, and I want people to cash with me. So it's like, people are overwhelmingly loving it. And even when somebody like bashes on Twitter, you get the random Twitter troll. My community, somebody even said it yesterday. Somebody was like, "Oh, he's pushing out all these, crazy parlays. When does he hit?" I mean, people came for his neck like crazy. It was hilarious to see, and like the guy actually backed up, and he was like, "It was a joke."
Whoa,
like,
sorry.
Yeah, they're like he puts time and effort and research and this. And I was like, all right, well, I'm glad that the community has my back, and which is cool. But so yeah, so people love it. It's helped out a lot, and I think it's a really good perk for some folks, and it's not too crazy expensive. I know there are there are services out there that are really expensive, like Discords and all that other stuff. That
this is just a great a low lift way to support you and support the hard work that you've done and the following that you've built. But hey, this has been probably my favorite interview that I've done thus far, and you couldn't be more of an authentic, genuine human being, and that's why you have 100,000 followers of people that all love you. So
I appreciate that, man.
Appreciate you swinging by the office, and I'm excited for more of these moving forward.
Yeah, it was fun, and it was good to, I've been showing my face a little bit more, and trying to get people to know that, like, yeah, I cook, yeah, I got a family, yeah, I do, but like I love doing this stuff, and I'm not just some random bot or some business company that's trying to, make a penny off everybody. So this has been fun. It's been a fantastic ride with you guys for 2 months. It's only been 2 months. It feels like it's been like 2 years.
But 2 years to come.
Yeah,
2 more years to come, and hopefully many more after that.
Yeah, the train's not stopping. So this has been fun. I appreciate it.
All right, Taylor.
All right.